Plenty of edginess on the start line as we finally get underway with a good start from Will Howarth. Jamie King forcing his way to the front. Jamie King hitting the front then ahead of Will Howarth. Josh Data has also picked off Jamie King, so a disastrous lap there for Jamie King as Bennett again looks to the inside. Howarth, Payne, Bennett, Data up in fourth position. Nichols, Grant and Birkin have all jumped ahead of Jamie King, so King must have some sort of problem because opportunity to close on the pair. Bennett cuts through, moves up to the outside to try and block Payne. Payne's still almost alongside and Data not too far behind either. Payne's going to get hung out to dry on the outside line and Data cuts past. He thinks about a move, he makes the decision very late and he makes the move. Down the inside, you can't get much closer to the curb around Raymond's than that. Payne dropped Josh Data on the final lap and actually Data's under pressure coming out of the final turn for the final time and has lost the position to Paul Nichols. Nichols snatching that place right on the last lap, so disappointment for Josh Data, who still receives his first top 5 finish of the day after problems earlier on in the race for Jamie King. The result in full then, it's a win for Will Howarth. Pace to Will Howarth in qualifying, and the two were swapping and changing. One loads of creeping, pulled well clear in this race number 1 in the senior mini motos. It's Will Howarth then, and Richard Holmes-Williams coming in to complete lap number 1 with third position. Paul Nichols versus Josh Data. This has been quite some battle. Josh Data through for third position. Paul Nichols dropping down to fourth place, but making the cut back and coming back through again. Can Nichols do anything special in the run down to the line? He's almost alongside, he's blocked out, but Data moves to block, and that was a fascinating race between Josh Data and Paul Nichols. Nichols held the position for the majority of the three. Some edginess further back down the grid from Ryan Grant as pressed for fifth position, and one of the riders has had to take to the chicane. That's going to lose a few positions as they take to the ground for fifth position. So the top two unchanged, no great surprises there. They've been the top two up through the field and into fifth position. So I did say he was challenging for it as they went around the top turn. Paul Nichols also threading his way through as Bennett makes a slight error and loses a bit on the tail of that group, actually. A group of 5 riders coming around Paddock Bend. 5th, 6th, 7th in the championship points is the rider to watch on the 711 bike. He's got to try and make up as many points as possible this weekend on Will Howarth, who is the series leader, 56 points clear. Ryan Grant, who was the rider with whom he had swapped and the role of Will Howarth this weekend. Howarth was untouchable in the opening 6 races. It's Jamie King. It looks as though he's stranded at the top end of the circuit. 3 podium finishes, and in the end, the story of the race was 14 seconds separated.
We're underway here. That's a decent start by Ryan Grant, but I don't think that's going to be enough to give him the position. Coming up towards turns 2 and 3 for the first time. It's turns 3 and 4 for the first time. Let's have a bit of a spy. That is 76. Jamie King, hang on, Jamie King's in the lead. How has he done? He's got a good 3 or 4 bike lengths as they come up towards the line for the first time. What's that in real money? Half a second between Matt Birkin, it was Jamie King in fact, ahead of Ryan Grant, Andy Whedon, Mark Payne, Josh Data.
Ryan Grant did not get the start I thought he'd get. Matt Birkin is start. Oh!
And someone's down.
Excuse me, that was a huge high side. He had a massive moment. He's
up.
Okay, he's up and all right. That was a huge moment. I hadn't seen that all day. That was a high side. Don't know who we're going to find out as they come across the line.
So we'll find out for you and let you know. But we've lost 2 then because
William Birkin was downfield anyway, so
but he's not come through at all. So we've lost 2 people.
We must have, yeah.
There's going to be an attack at the inside, and we've got a slowing as well. Is that Andy Whedon who's slowing?
He's on the grass.
Yeah, he's on the apex hander before the final corner, and just watch the gap close in. The race leader's just got line. They come now. Matt Birkin takes the victory in the senior mini moto. 0.3 seconds, that's enough. Mark Payne will take second place ahead of Justin Bainbridge in the end after that poor fall there.
Underway with the lights going out here in race number 1 of the senior mini motos at round 5. There was about a second between 3rd and 4th positions behind the front 3 who've well and truly broken away. Holmes-Williams down to 5th then. It comes down the start-finish straight. They're within a bike length of one another. Howarth thinks about a move again but backs out of it at the last moment. Still less than a tenth of a second between them. Data's got the better of Richard Holmes-Williams. So it's Payne ahead of Howarth. A big gap then To an isolated third position for Matt Birkin. Josh Data fighting Richard Holmes-Williams throughout. Paul Nicholls, Mark Payne, Bernie Hook and Andy Whedon all still in that group. Trend is being replicated. Data at the far end of the circuit excels. Holmes-Williams at the entrance to the infield section here at Red Lodge manages to find his way back through. They're side by side coming back down towards Paddock Bend. And the leader's in the same situation. Down the inside comes Will Howarth. This time he's made the move stick of lap number 5 and sets a new fastest lap of the race, a 49.6, to lead by just over a tenth of a second ahead of Brandon Payne. Matt Birkin still in third. The fight still to be decided is for the 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th positions as they come around the final turn. A third place goes to Matt Birkin, fourth to Josh Data, Mark Payne over the line in 5th. Bernie Hook gets the better of Richard Holmes-Williams, but Paul Nicholls loses 2 positions on the final lap.
On the grid, trying to restart their bike desperately, not going too well for them, I'm afraid, at the moment, as they grid up, getting ready, and 96. Will Howarth overshoots his grid marking ever so slightly. Does get back into position, though, not too difficult with these, so we'll wait and see what happens, as looks like the golden bike is not going to be taking the start of this race. Doesn't in Bainbridge, I think, who's not going to be starting. Williams just takes it over the line. Oh my goodness me, that looks like Will Howarth. He's going to go straight over through turn 1, cuts over the grass, had nowhere to go. There's a couple of riders involved. They're both up on their feet trying to get the bikes restarted. They do get on the way. It's over and clipped a couple of other bikes. 2 or 3 people were down, but they are on the way safely, so no need for panic. We do get on the way though, and as they come through turn 8 for the first time, a massive gap. Great battle now for the lead of the race. Richard Holmes-Williams is holding on to the race lead. Again, can't make a position. He gets a good run. And Richard Holmes-Williams trying to look around the outside of turn number 2, the right-hander. Gets his nose in front. He's trying for the race lead on Ryder's right-hand side. A better run up the hill, though, for Brandon Payne, which means he'll take the position coming into Christmas Corner. Turn burned on the podium. And as we've got someone down actually at turn number 6, I'm not sure who that is. In fact, that looks like that was a battle for our in the Senior Mini Motos race for this weekend. And Richard Holmes-Williams, in fact, does come round for that victory.
Also the top scorer in the last 2 rounds. He will be the favourite then from pole position. Brandon, green lights and away we go. Was a better start actually for Brandon Payne than it was for Will Howarth, but Howarth had the inside line and commanded it well, making good progress. Nick Bennett from 5th position on the grid, making his way through to 4th on the first turn and holds on to 4th place as they go up to the far end of the circuit and round the spoon now, ahead of Will Howarth. That's how well he managed to get away from 2nd, but Howarth has now broken clear quite swiftly. 1.5 seconds back already. It's Justin Bainbridge in 3rd. He ran a little bit wide through Devil's Elbow and that's faster than anyone else. 53.6 on that last lap. Brandon Payne 3 seconds in arrears now. Justin Bainbridge, oh, we've got a faller, and quite a big one it was, but he's straight back up to his feet, and another one has slid in to join him. So turn 1 proving treacherous. We saw a lot of crashes there in practice and Nick Bennett. Oh, Bennett's run off the circuit. Nick Bennett from 4th position and is going to lose a series of places. What a lap this has been. Lap number 4 and it's wacky races. Nick Bennett runs wide. He's rejoined the track now, but he seems to be lacking in pace. Going to lap faster than anyone else. Race going on for 3rd, diving down the inside, Mark Payne. He can't quite get there, but he moves Justin Bainbridge off the line. Bainbridge now moves to block. He looks over his shoulder, realises Payne is already alongside, and through comes Mark Payne for 3rd position. Watch out for Andy Whedon trying to come through as well now. Going to go to Mark Payne, but only just ahead of Justin Bainbridge in 4th and Andy Whedon in 5th.